Hello and welcome to Deccan Herald. At 2 p.m. today, we are actually discussing the results and the progress in all the four states. Today, to discuss this with me, I have with me my colleagues ETV Shivapriyan and Arjun Raghunath. Shivapriyan has covered Tamil Nadu extensively and Arjun Kerala. I'll come to you, Shiva, first. Obviously, everyone is talking about Vijay's TVK and the phenomenal success it has had for a party that is so recent and perhaps its first assembly election, it is actually doing well. It's leading in about 110 seats. The closely followed, not closely followed, but the second place is ADMK with 59, DMK with 48, and then goes. So the DMK, which was in power, has actually been pushed to a distant third place. Shiva, if I were to ask you, TVK is TVK prepared for such? Was TVK prepared for such a victory? What is your
See,
analysis?
I'm not very sure about the TVK, but Vijay's personal political strategist, Mr. John Arakyasamy, was all along very, very confident and clear that he would breach the magic mark of 118. He has
Okay.
been so it was still off record. So I think now that he has brought Vijay to where he wanted to. So I think he was
Okay.
all in maintaining that the TVK will cross the 118 mark and Vijay will be the chief minister. So it was only Mr. John Arakyasamy, strategist, who kept saying this to a couple of journalists. But we didn't see that kind of a shift towards the TVK that they can come to power. I did write a reporter's diary where I saw the winds of change being witnessed, but I also never thought that it was going to be something like this, that Vijay will storm to power in his first election itself. There was a yearning for change. People were fatigued with both the DMK and the AIADMK since they have ruled the state alternatively since 1967. But this is something very, very phenomenal. This is not something that even the legendary MG Ramachandran achieved in 1977, because MGR was a politician for about 20 years. He was a MLA for 2 terms when he became the chief minister. But Vijay launched his political party in 2024, and now he's going to be the chief minister in 2026. This is actually a very positive vote for Vijay's cult and and actually Viju, to be very frank and to be very fair, we should point out that Vijay did not campaign extensively
Mm.
like his challengers, Edapadi Palaniswamy and M.K. Stalin. He hardly addressed about 10 to 15 rallies even during the peak election season. Probably, I believe that it is a case study. We'll have to study how Vijay outsourced the campaigning to Gen Z generation, how he outsourced the campaigning to his young fans within every household. So he told them that there is a Vijay in every house. So it is the responsibility of that Vijay to go and campaign for him. So he kind of used the social media to the hill to tell people, to tell the younger generation that it is for them to work towards the change that they want. Vijay is just an instrument in that change, and that is what I think worked for Vijay. So, like 110 seats is no small feat for for a leader who has not met press even once in his political career, and he has not even given interviews, nothing at all. But just making some 10 to 15.
Shiva, if I could just cut you here and just ask a question, since you're talking about this one. If this is hypothetical at the moment, but if Vijay's TVK does not breach the 118 mark, what if, say, if it falls short by about 10 seats? What do you think would be the readjustments or political equations changing? How do
Of
you
course.
see that happening?
Of course, the Congress, the CPIM, the CPM, and all these DMK allies will jump to support Vijay, but I think Vijay will be very cautious in taking their support. What he will do, I believe, in my personal opinion, is that he will ask them to support his government from outside, because he is about 112. So these guys are about 10 seats or so. So he will probably ask them to support him from outside. So these political parties will be more than obliged to support the TVK from outside. So that is what I think. I don't think Vijay will ally with the AIADMK because he is just short of about 4 or 6 seats. Even if he's short of about 15 seats or so, I think the DMK allies will bridge that gap, will fill that numbers. So he doesn't have to go to the AIADMK. So now I think it is this election. I think Vijay has smashed the Dravidian duopoly, at least for this election. We'll have to wait and see how it turns out, how the future turns out for Vijay or for these Dravidian political parties. But he has smashed them, and the Congress and other political parties must be repenting because Vijay gave them an open offer that if they come and ally with him, he will share power with them and he will even make them make some of the MLAs ministers, but none of them accepted it. So I think now it will be the turn of Vijay to tell them like you didn't accept my offer then. So if you want to support me, please support me from outside.
Out support from outside. Okay, Arjun, if I could come to you, with this loss, the left in has lost power in Kerala, of course. But interestingly, it is nowhere in power anywhere in India with this because this was the last place. What do you
Yeah.
think will happen to the left party in Kerala now? It's been in power for 10 years. A lot of resentment has been built up, and that we can see in the results. What do you think here on will happen for to the left?
Yeah, so what we can see from this election outcome is it's not just an anti-incumbency factor. The CPM is losing even in its strongholds like Kannur. So that means the
Hmm.
basic CPM votes they are losing. So that means there's a serious issue within the organization, which many
Okay.
leaders already pointed out. And interestingly, three prominent rebels, TK Govind, Talipamba, Kunyikrishnan, Payyanur, and G. Sudhakaran, all three had already won the elections,
Yes.
almost
Yes.
leading. So that means there's a serious organizational issue. Or the upper hand being maintained by Pinarayi Vijayan and 2-3 persons fielding party secretary's wife, MB Govind's wife.
Every
Those all
Govind's wife.
internal
Yes.
issues are strongly the sentiment of the party cadres over these internal issues has very visibly come out in this election. So there will be going to be serious discussions within the party. So this is a major setback for Pinarayi Vijayan because he has been maintaining a dominance in the party, which will now
Okay.
be affected. So
Yes.
there is going to be serious repercussions within the party with these election results.
That is the case for the left, but I have to ask you about the BJP in Kerala. It seems to
Yeah.
be it is likely to win one between 1 and 2, maybe even if
Yeah.
it's third seat as well. But what do you
Yeah.
think? Is this reason for the BJP to celebrate, or is it more status quo for them?
No, we have to wait and see the voting vote share also. I think going
Okay.
by the trend, BJP won't be making much improvement in the vote share because even in Nemam, which is said to be stronghold, they are
Mm-hmm.
just struggling. Like it's even now it's around 2,500 votes only. So I mean,
Okay. Lead.
they can celebrate like we have reopened account, but it's much behind their expectations. So what they used to project. So I mean, obviously they don't have much to celebrate, but they can claim that if they manage to win 1 or 2 seats, they have some reason to celebrate or to at
Okay.
least save their face.
All right. Shiva, if I could come to you, um, what do you make of the results and how does it reflect on the AIDMK? Because before the elections, it was in disarray. There was internal fighting. You had, Paneerselvam actually leaving the party and joining the DMK. So, given that it's coming in the second position at the moment, how do you see the AIDMK's fortune?
See, like for the AIADMK, this is the first time that the party will stay out of power for about 10 years.
Mm.
So the DMK has stayed out of power for 13 years when Mr. M.G. Ramachandran was the chief minister, and about 10 years when Jayalalitha and Edappadi Palaniswamy were the chief ministers between
Mm.
2011 to 2021. For the DMK, making comebacks or like being out of power for a decade or 13 years has been something that they have been used to. But for the AIADMK, this is the first time in their history that the party is out of power for 5 years. So it's not just about reimagining, but it also like in my opinion, Viju, I think the DMK, because of its ideology and other things, might be able to script a comeback, but the AIADMK will have to reimagine itself to see how the party can be relevant. It is going to be the opposition party now, no doubt about it, I think, unless the DMK scripts some kind of unless there is some magic and the DMK comes back as the opposition party. But I think the AIADMK and the DMK will have to reimagine themselves and then put a strong resistance to TVK. But I think we'll have to wait and see how these things emerge, because what I see is, except the BJP, almost other political parties, be it the DMK allies or the AIADMK allies, are likely to move towards Vijay and provide him outside support for him to form the government. So I think this is the first time since 1967 that the AIADMK or DMK will be out of Fort St. George, and the Fort St. George, the seat of power of the Tamil Nadu government, is to get a new occupant in C. Joseph Vijay.
Okay, let me frame that question in a different way. Being out of power, both the AIDMK and the DMK, the ADMK, which is led by Edapadi, and DMK by Stalin, do you think both these leaders can hold the party together while not in power, or do you see internal rifts widening?
See, like for the DMK, like I pointed out, Viju, they have been used to defeats. They have been used to being out of power for 13 years, 10 years at a stretch. But for the AIADMK, this is a very, very new experiment. And EPS has also been successively defeated. He has never tasted, the AIADMK has never tasted success in elections ever since Jayalalitha's death in 2016. So I think it's going to be a challenge for both political parties. At least for the DMK, I don't think Mr. M.K. Stalin's leadership will come under question, because he still seems to be under the firm control of the party. But I think for the AIADMK, there will be a lot of questions that will be raised against Mr. Edapadi Palaniswamy, and it may be the road may not be very easy for EPS, but it may be a little easy for Stalin unless there is a rebellion from within.
From within means from within the family or from within the close quarters in the party?
It could be from within the family, or it could be from within the close quarters as well, Viju. Because like we'll have to see how Vijay also performs as we'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
So like the counting hasn't ended, so we'll have to the day hasn't ended. Vijay has not even been sworn in as a chief minister, so we'll have to wait and see how these things turn out. But both for the DMK and the AIADMK, this is a body blow to them, especially for the DMK being pushed to the third position. So both parties will have to go back to the drawing board to counter the new challenge in Mr. Vijay.
Okay, Arjun, if I could come to you, the UDF, the Congress-led UDF is now celebrating definitely, and this is more or less the number which which VD Sadish and the Congress leader had told the media that it was close to 100 is what their projection was. What I want to ask you is, the Congress is doing well, but we should also look into how the IUML has performed over here. Has the IUML delivered? There's been a lot of criticism on how the alliance has gone. There were talk about how the IUML might actually stay away from the Congress in the post-poll scenario. But what do you make of it now?
Yeah, obviously, IUML is performing well. Out of the 27 seats they contested, they are now maintaining lead in almost 22 or 23 seats, including one out of the two women candidates, one young woman, Fatima Tahiliya. She is also leading, and that too against LDF convener and former Minister T.P. Ramakrishnan. So she's leading there. So it will be, if she makes it, it will be the first time that IUML is getting a woman MLA in Kerala Assembly.
Yes.
So that way IUML, as well as Kerala Congress Joseph group, which is it is also out of the I think 8 seats they contested, and 7 seats they are leading. On the other side, Kerala Congress Mani, which is now with the LDF, is literally suffering. I think they almost lost all seats.
Especially Pala, which has been their bastion, where KM Mani, patriarch held for quite a few, I think 10 or 11 terms he had held it.
Yeah, K. Mani was MLA for over 50, 55 years. He was the longest
Yes.
serving MLA. Even then, his son is not able to win. In two elections, he got defeated.
Yes.
Major setback
So,
for him also.
okay. And is there any, from your sources, are you getting any clarity on how the next Chief Minister of Kerala is being decided? Who it could likely be?
No, because I mean, regarding the 100-seat projection, I think only VD Sadition was firmly telling that yeah, UDF
Yes.
will come to power with 100 seats. So we have to, I mean, it's hats off to him because even exit polls were predicting up to 90 seats. But VD Sadition was
Okay.
quite firm on this 100 seats. No other leaders were so firm on the 100-seat this thing estimation. So now there will be a lot of discussions. Like it's Congress anyway, it's Congress. So lot of
So
discussions. Everything will happen in the
it's
coming days.
it's safe to assume that over the next few days we will hear a lot of
Yeah.
bickering and fight over
Yes.
who's going to be the next chief minister for Kerala.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Because even right from the candidate selection, there were these groups were trying to push in maximum their loyals as the candidates, so that after the elections they will get the support. So in the coming days, it will be very interesting. Rather than this election, the selection of CM will be more interesting for Kerala.
All right. Okay. Fine. So I think Thank you, Arjun. Thank you, Shiva. Shiva, you were saying something. Sorry.
No, Vijay. It's fine. Thank you.
All right. Sure. Thank you very much, Shiva and Arjun. This actually gives us a good idea about the development in both the southern states. Now, to discuss the developments in the eastern states, West Bengal and Assam, I have two of my colleagues, Sumir Karmakar and Kalyan Ray. Hi, Kalyan. Hi, Sumir. Am I audible?
Yeah, hi, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Sumir, if I could come to you first. Assam, the BJP team is sweeping the state with a pretty dominant majority. Himanta Biswa Sarma is has won it again. Can you give an overview of what is your reading of this result in Assam?
Yes, Vijay. I mean, as the trend suggests, the BJP and its allies are leading in 97 seats out of 127. So what I mean went in favor of the BJP? Why BJP managed to win the elections for the third straight term is because BJP, because there are three reasons. BJP adopted 2-3 important strategies. One was a narrative of anti-infiltration narrative, which Himanta Biswa Sarma had adopted in the last 10 years, 15 years. So that strategy seems to have worked again. And another was, the Himanta Biswa Sarma government had implemented several cash incentive schemes targeting the women and tea garden workers. So that has helped BJP to build a strong vote bank among the women and the tea garden voters. Remember, this is the first time the Congress party under Gaurav Gogoi, and Gaurav Gogoi is contesting the assembly elections for the first time. Since his father's death, former Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi, who died in 2000, Congress was struggling to have a leader, and this is and that is the reason why the Congress brought in Gaurav Gogoi to the state politics. Why he was brought? Because in the last in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, Gaurav Gogoi had registered victory in Jorhat Assembly constituency, Lok Sabha seat, where BJP was in power. I mean, BJP candidates had won in the last election. So Congress camp was a little upbeat over Gaurav Gogoi's leadership. They were thinking that since Gaurav Gogoi is a Ahom candidate, Gaurav Gogoi belongs to the Ahom community and indigenous community. So under his leadership, the people of Assam, particularly the Assamese people, the tribals, and other indigenous communities will go for the Congress-led alliance. Also, Congress, Gaurav Gogoi got two new parties on board. One is Okil Gogoi's Rajyo Dal and is Assam Jatiya Parishad. And these three leaders are Gogois, they belong to the Ahom community. But as the trend suggests, the Assamese community and the indigenous communities, did not go with Congress and the opposition allies, and BJP managed to retain their vote among the indigenous communities.
Okay, if I could come to Kalyan. Kalyan, you've traveled extensively through West Bengal for covering these elections. And now when you see the results, I think it's to say that, it's an upset for the TMC would be an understatement. What is your reading of this result? And as we speak now, BJP and allies are at about 196 seats, and the TMC and its allies are at about 92, 94.
Yeah, it seems now that the BJP is heading towards a 2/3 majority in the assembly, and TMC is less than 100. So, because a landslide is an understatement.
Okay.
And no, I think two things have happened. One is there is a large scale Hindu vote consolidation behind BJP, because TMC is identified with Muslim voters. So there is a large scale Hindu vote consolidation against that Muslim voters. And I think another factor which many people did not take into account is that so as I traveled across the districts in Bengal and I spoke to people, almost all of them are kind of having kind of resentment, complaints about the way the TMC government is run, about the corruption, about nepotism, about lack of jobs, about poor quality education, about poor quality infrastructure. So the way the entire government is being run for the last 10 years, and I think there's a kind of very, very deep resentment among the people of all classes, against the way this particular government is run, against the way, there's a kind of dadagiri by the local level TMC leaders, the way the local TMC leaders, councillors, MLAs behaved with people, the way they made money at the cost of development of an area. I think all of these things have kind of combined together to give such a result.
Okay. Sumir, if I would come to you, how do you see this results from a Congress point of view? What does this mean for the party, which has been out of power for quite some time now? That is one. The second thing is, do you think the Congress can survive or maintain its vote base even if it stays out of power for the next 5 years?
I think there are tough days ahead for the Congress. Because after a long time, as I mentioned just now, after a long time after Tarun Gogoi's death, Congress got a leader in Gaurav Gogoi. But the kind of strategy or the alliance Gaurav Gogoi decided this time, this has failed, particularly among in the Upper Assam, which has about 50 seats. And as the results suggest, out of this about 58 seats in Upper Assam and Central Assam, Congress candidates are leading only in 3-4 seats. So they have visited, they have done very badly in Upper Assam. So Congress camp will have to reinvent itself, not only in selecting their alliances, but also build up their organizational base to go back to the indigenous communities and also to the tea garden voters in the Upper Assam and North Assam. Another thing
go ahead. Sorry, another thing. Go ahead, please.
Just one point which I think went against Congress is that the Congress did not have clarity during the campaigning on important issues concerning Assam, particularly the foreigners issue, because when Congress was saying that they will establish Assam of unity and communal harmony, but in the manifesto or in the five guarantees they made to the people, there was lack of clarity. There was no action plan before the people how they are going to solve the problem of foreigners issue in Assam. As you know, the foreigners issue is the most important issue in Assam elections, but the Congress lacked clarity on how they will solve the problem of foreigners issue.
Do you see pressure increasing against Gaurav Gogoi?
I think so because inside the Congress, some section did not want the Okil Gogoi's party to be part of the alliance, because many are saying that the Okil Gogoi's party is not as committed. So and that is may be the reason why the three Gogois did not campaign together as vigorously as we all were expecting. So I think Gaurav Gogoi will need to rethink about the strategy.
Okay, final question to you, Sumir. Do you think Himanta is continuing as chief minister? What are your sources telling you?
Yeah, there is no clarity yet. Like in 2021, in the 2021 BJP won the elections with Sarbananda Sonowal as the chief minister. But after the elections results came out, we had to wait for at least 10 days on who will become the next chief minister. And finally, Himanta Biswa Sharma was preferred. And this time also, although some leaders were saying that Himanta Biswa Sharma will become the chief minister, but the party, the hierarchy, the high command has not yet named him as the chief minister. So I think by the end of the day, things will be clear.
There'll be more clarity. Kalyan, if I were to ask you, in West Bengal, BJP is comfortably in a position where it can form the government, it can choose the leader that it wants to become the chief minister. Is there any clarity, or what are your sources telling you about who could be the next chief minister or BJP's first chief minister in Bengal?
I think as of now, Shubhendu is kind of considered de facto chief minister. But there are other senior leaders like Dilip Ghosh, like Shobhik Bhattacharya. But I think Shubhendu is ahead of the others. But it's a call which the BJP central leadership will have to take.
Another question is TMC is now out of power. What do you see the road ahead for the TMC? Do you think Mamata Banerjee can remain politically strong for the next 5 years, or will it be hard for her to hold the party together? Because once out of power, generally parties seem to face a lot of.
You have to remember. You have to remember something. When TMC came to power in 2011, people have a lot of expectation. That was the time this Mamata's party gave a call of Parivartan. Parivartan from the misrule of 34 years of left. And it came with a lot of promises, which it kind of failed miserably. The party relied too much on Mamata's personal image. Party relied too much of the success of these cash transfer schemes like Lokhir Bhandar. And also some amount of the vote consolidation from the women's, from the subaltern community, and the minority groups. And in the process, was the party completely neglected is that one is this kind of to deliver on the promises it has come in, to improve the standard of governance, and also it ignored the angers and resentment of the common people about this lack of job, education, poor infrastructure. It just ignored all these concerns and thought, that they can bulldoze on the image of Mamata's personal image and this caste transfer scheme, which helped the party in the last election, but this time it was the BJP gave a real strong fight and it was not enough for the party. So so is it the end of no? So is it the end of Mamata? It is too early to say. Mamata being a Mamata is a kind of diehard kind of politicians of 5 decades of experience. Having a fighter image. So I'm sure she will find out a strategy to come back. But she has to remember that people had a lot of faith on her, which she failed to deliver, and she has to go find out some way to kind of fulfill that promise.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Kalyan. Thank you, Sumit. That's it from us for now. But I would like to remind our viewers that at 7 o'clock, there is an extensive debate, a comprehensive one. By then, we'll have more clarity on the results and the political developments that will follow after that. At 6 p.m., the Prime Minister will be meeting party workers in the party headquarters. So at 7 o'clock, we'll come with the next bulletin. Till then, have a good day.